It has always struck me as one of the great overlooked jaw droppers of the scandal-ridden Trump era, that just one of the things that's happened since he's been in office is that his older sister, federal judge Marianne Trump Barry, really did have to give up her lifetime seat on the federal bench in order to avoid a judicial ethics inquiry into a massive multi-million-dollar alleged years-long tax fraud scheme that she reportedly engaged in with her family, including with her brother, who is the sitting president. I mean, we don't even think of that as one of the Trump scandals, but like that's bigger than any other presidential scandal of my lifetime. It's one of the forgotten scandals of this presidency. I mean, you know, there was Billy Carter, right? There was Roger Clinton. There was Neil Bush, right? I mean, there are presidential sibling embarrassments. But since when has a presidential sibling had to resign from the judiciary to avoid scrutiny of the things she did with the president with taxes and their family money? That's from page 193 of the book. Quote, this is Mary Trump speaking in her own voice. Quote, I met with Marianne, her aunt, the president's older sister. I met with Marianne again shortly after the article ran. She denied all of it. She was just a girl, after all, she said. When a piece of paper requiring her signature had been put in front of her, she'd signed it, no questions asked. She said, this article goes back 60 years. You know that's before I was a judge. She said this as if the investigation had also ended 60 years before. She seemed unconcerned that there would be any repercussions. Although a court inquiry had been opened into her alleged conduct, all she had to do to put an end to that was retire as a judge, which she did, thereby retaining her $200,000 a year judicial pension. Well, the article in question, Mary Trump says, I met with her again shortly after the article ran. The article in question, the one that caused the president's sister to resign her lifetime appointment as a judge, because that was the only way she could preclude the judiciary from running an inquiry into what she allegedly did. The article in question was, of course, the Pulitzer Prize-winning gigantic investigation into the president's financial past that the New York Times published in October 2018. That is where we learn from the Times' dogged reporting and from a ton of documents they exclusively obtained. That's where we learned that the president had received hundreds of millions of dollars from his father, not the $1 million loan that he had long publicly claimed was his sole inheritance from his father. That's where we learned about the president and his family running this reported scheme by which they systematically undervalued their assets to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, basically to cheat on paying taxes. That's where we learned that the president and his family went so far as to create a fake company to siphon money out of their father's company without having to pay taxes on it. The scheme worked by marking up building and construction costs, but then President Trump and his siblings reportedly just pocketed the difference without ever paying any tax on that money.